Back on track with the Tuesdays
Back on
again.
track for at least 1 week.
Hello, good fellas. Welcome back to another episode of Ask Tony Tuesday.
If you haven't got a clue, Tony's got the answer for you.
There's a lot going on.
It is. It's been crazy. We've been trying. So,
Crazy, sick, crazy, busy.
yeah.
A lot of stuff.
Yeah, sixth season doesn't help at all.
Yeah, no.
And thankfully, I just finally got over a sickness. I don't even know what it was.
Everybody's been sick.
It's crazy.
People in the office, people in the shop,
Mm-hmm.
customers, friends, family. It's crazy.
Yep. At school, we were taking an exam, and all you could hear was.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hopefully that's the end and we move forward.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait for this year to be over. It's been a tough year.
it has.
Business-wise, good. Personally, with the sickness and stuff, it's been tough. But 2023 is a year.
Yeah, we're hoping.
the year. It can't be worse than 2022, but
I hope not. I really hope not.
But here we go. I'm focused. It's the year of Tony.
Yeah, there you go. The year of Tony.
Here we go.
First question of the day for you.
Okay.
Good questions today. Do all the materials weigh the same? And if not, what material weighs the lightest and what weighs the heaviest?
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting question. You would think they would all weigh the same. Right?
Yeah, because they all look the same,
Right.
pretty much the same
it's all,
size.
right, figure a whole stone is stone, it would all weigh the same. It's density. So the lightest material would be quartz because it's not all stone. So when you take the quartz part of it in the sand, then you mix it with the resin or the plastic, that makes it lighter. So quartz is probably about 24, 25 pounds per square foot. Most marbles and granites are about 27 pounds per square foot. But then again, you get back to that density. So when you get to a solid black, like absolute black, is closer to 30 pounds per square foot. So it goes by density. So any blacks or any solid colors, especially absolute black, which really isn't even a granite, it's that dense. But it's classified as granite, and it's sold as a granite. But it's so dense that it's about 30 pounds per square foot. So about 3 pounds more per square foot. So yeah, absolute black would be your heaviest. Quartz would be your lightest.
Wow, that's crazy.
And you get travertine. Travertine has, a lot of holes in it. In the surface it's usually honed and it has the filler in top, so it doesn't have holes on it. So you don't have a surface full of holes. So because it has the holes on the back, it's a little bit lighter, which makes it a little bit more brittle. But it could be quartz, probably travertine, limestone. Your marbles and granites, probably all about 27 in there. Your solid blacks, especially absolute black, closer to 30.
So does that actually, sidebar question, does that affect what you're holding it up with, like your cabinetry or anything like that?
Not the cabinet, because what happens is you take that weight and it's spread over the entire cabinet. It's if you put it all on, if you took, like, say you took a counter that was an island 1,600 pounds and you put it in 1 square foot, chances are the floor would buckle. But because it's spread over the 8, 9, 10, 12 feet, you're only talking about 27 to 30 pounds in that square foot.
Okay.
So yeah, but don't get me wrong. The better the cabinet, the more solid it's going to be. We've done some cabinets that are, we put them in because people pay for them, but we do everything we can. We have to go in sometimes with some 2x4s and screws just to shore the cabinets up. Sometimes we go in and the cabinets are shaking like that.
Yeah.
And the last thing we want to do is put that much weight on top of it. So we won't do it. We'll shore it up that it's safe. But yeah, the more solid wood cabinets, the better. Sometimes we get cabinets from these surplus stores that aren't the best. Usually it's a pressed board or pressed wood, not a solid wood, a little bit weaker. Sometimes people will buy stuff from IKEA. IKEA, everybody says, IKEA, you buy it's like college dorm furniture.
Yeah.
But people buy them because the price is right, so they buy them for kitchen countertops. But I mean, for kitchen cabinetry, but you know, it's not the best cabinetry.
Right.
So it's a little, it's not really made to hold that kind of weight. We do them because again, we'll do what we need to do in order to short up to make sure it will support it. But you know, your better cabinetry, your solid wood cabinetry, is your best bet, and it always comes down to installation. I mean, you could have the best cabinetry in the world, and if it's not installed correctly, if it's not, you know, if you're not hitting any studs,
Right.
you know, it doesn't make any difference, you know. And you know, sometimes we'll go in and a homeowner or maybe a handyman that doesn't really know what he's doing will install a cabinetry, and he'll install it with a 1 foot level, and he goes, all right, this cabinet's level, this cabinet's level, this cabinet's level. Well, yeah, they're all individually level, but they have to be
across.
they have to be completely level across. So you can't do it with a 1 foot level. You have to do it with like an 8 foot level,
Yeah.
where you make sure it's level across the whole span of cabinetry.
Second question of the day.
Okay.
How do you change a finish on a natural stone?
Okay. Well, there's a series of brushes. Like if you want an antique or a leather finish, there are a series of diamond abrasive brushes, much like the polishing pads. So to bring a stone all the way up to a polish, it's a series of grits going from a more coarse grit up to a super fine grit, much like sandpaper with wood. You know, wood's
Okay.
normally rough, and then you sand it with finer and finer grits until it's nice and smooth. Same thing with snow. So with stone, you would go to a finer and finer grit until you got to, you know, a polish. So if you want a home finish, you just don't go as high in the grits. So now if it's you taking a polished surface but you want to make it honed, you just take some polishing pads and you take it down from that high polish, which is like 3,000, 4,000, you know, grit, down to maybe you go up to 500 or 1,000, depending on how, you know, whether you want something that's almost a shiny finish, you want something that looks a little bit duller. That's how high you go.
Okay.
Now, if you want it leather finish, we have a little bit of texture. We have diamond abrasive brushes. They look like scrubbing brushes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they look like scrubbing brushes, but they have diamond abrasives on the ends of them. So it's the same thing. You go a series of grits, depending on how smooth you want it. Like if we were doing, say, stair treads, you probably would want it a little bit coarser, so you have something to grip when you're walking.
Right.
Or around the pool coping, you probably want something you can grip a little bit more. So we would do a lower grit. For countertops, we would probably take it up almost it's just that orange peel kind of surface.
Yep.
You know, it's more dimpled than anything. But this way, you put your wine glass there, the wine glass is flopping over, and so it's just a little bit of a texture. Like I would say, that orange peel kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
So it gives it that look, and the beauty part is, you know, it doesn't show any fingerprints.
Yeah.
Even on solid black, people go, oh, don't use black, it shows everything. Not if you get leather finish, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
So the diamond abrasive pieces kind of like give you those little nicks in it that.
yeah, there's just a little bit of your nooks and crannies, just enough to give you a little bit of a different surface, but it looks good.
That's really
And
cool.
then we can, you know, as you know, we can color enhance it. We had done a thing about color enhancing. You know, when it's not polished all the way up, it won't be as, you know, the color doesn't come all the way through. But we can fix that by adding a color enhancer sealer that brings back all the color without the shine.
Yep. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It makes it really dark.
There's so many different things you can do with stone. It's why I always say I don't know why anybody would do anything but natural stone. You know, every stone is different, block to block, I don't care. You know, how consistent a stone is. They all vary block to block. And that's why, you know, we have the full slabs here.
Yep.
So people can see actually what they're getting. You know, you go to a showroom and it has a sample on the wall. It may or may not look like that sample.
Right.
I mean, if it's not from what they're cutting right now, chances of it matching are very slim.
Mm-hmm.
And that sample could be on the wall for 10 years.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I mean, I doubt, you know, there's anybody changing their samples as they're cutting.
Yeah. No.
You know, their
probably
samples have
not.
probably been on the wall for as long as they've been open, and then they're cutting whatever they have slab-wise or whatever they can get slab. You know, most guys go to a wholesaler, say, you know, send me 2 slabs of gold Venetian, 2 slabs of gold Venetian come in. Guaranteed it's not the same lot they have on the wall.
No.
But when you come here, you look at the full slab, the slab you pick, the slab you use. You know exactly what it's going to look like. You know where the veins are, and you know what the background color is. You know, one could be, you know, if you do samples, it'd be lighter, darker, greener, gold, or browner. But looking at a full slab, it's going to be exactly what you see.
Right. And we know better than anything
Yeah.
how much it changes because we get deliveries in almost every week.
Yeah.
And we
couple of weeks.
we get in a lot of the same materials because some materials just go so quick and other people want them. And you can tell just from, they could be in the same lot too, but just from some pieces being in the front pieces that were cut versus the back pieces, it changes.
Because when you look at a block, when you get a stone, it's generally they'll quarry a block of stone. A block of stone will yield about 40 to 50 slabs. So it's like slicing bread. So if you have, now if it's consistent from here to here, it's not going to be that big a deal. But if you have something that's heavily veined and really exotic looking, slab 1 could be way, way different than slab 45. Which is why you notice that we always have consecutive slabs. So slab 1 to 2, you're only talking about 1.25 inches difference. So here to here, it's going to be pretty close, if not identical. But from slab 1 to 45, you know, that vein is either going to get, the slab on, you know, the vein on slab 1 is either going to get bigger or it's going to get smaller. So it could be a lot different.
Yeah, and you could have more light, you could have more dark. Just depends on where it's cut.
Yeah.
Those are all the questions I have for you today.
That was pretty informative stuff there.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with some new questions for you guys that I thought you guys would like a little bit more.
That was good.
I'm definitely going to open up the questioning again, I think. We'll probably do a poll and see if we can get more questions.
You know, not to pat ourselves on the back, but people should watch these things and listen because these are the things that you should know.
Yes.
We always say that, you know, when you're buying natural stone, that we educate as well as sell. Some people just, you come in and, you know, I can't tell you, and you've seen it, how many times on social media, or we've heard people go, I have brown fantasy granite. And I always cringe because it's not granite.
That's all that we have for you guys today on this week's episode. Thank you for tuning in, and we will be back next week with another episode, hopefully on Tuesday again.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. See you later.
Oh, long and hard.
And the ladies were arguing with me. She's in Florida.